the social, cultural, and economic fabric of human organization through technology-fostered cooperative behaviors and interactions. This budding collaborative society relies on different modes of cooperation, sharing, joint creation, production, distribution, trade, and consumption of goods and services by people, communities, and organizations. Collaborative society can also be viewed as a series of services and startups that enable peer-to-peer exchanges and interactions through technology. Although it may be a relatively recent new technology-enabled phenomenon, collaborative society in its entirety is a system with good old sharing and collaboration at its heart. In fact, cooperation laid the foundation for the Internet as we know it today. To the developers of ARPANET, sharing knowledge proved more productive than trading information. Sharing was also understood literally, as the early computer systems were premised on the collaborative use of hardware, and the culture of sending demos and software on floppy drives by mail long preceded online piracy. The hacker ethic, sparked by joining forces in imaginative ways, foregrounded radical openness, decentralization, and collaboration. Most tech developers understood collaboration and peer production broadly as the heart of the net's innovative capacities, and viewed encapsulated proprietary networks as limiting them. Marcus Felson and Joe L. Spaeth, in their study Community Structure and Collaborative Consumption, introduced the term economy of sharing in 1978. Today, more than 40 years later, the economy and society continue to rapidly develop and transform. The significant boost in sharing as both a work and lifestyle stemmed from swift improvements in technologies such as social media, mobile technologies, cybercurrencies, and co-production. Some experts, however, predict that this development will soon slow down, even though others argue that it has hardly begun. Juliet Shaw observes that a clear definition of technology-mediated open collaboration might be difficult to pin down. Some already acknowledge sharing as an important term of self-description for digital cultures. But others see the very concepts of open collaboration or sharing economy as still unclear and problematic, because they embody at least half a dozen diverse phenomena: acts of communication, gifting, swapping, distributing, contributing, and digital replication. Some scholars note that sharing is no longer just a mundane practice, but rather an expression of a utopian imaginary associated with politics, with socialist, communist, and anarchist values, with the free culture movement and the digital commons. Notions of sharing and collaboration, however, proliferate in popular discourse and among decision-makers. For instance, Italy passed a bill in 2016 that defines the sharing economy as an economic system generated by the optimization and shared allocation of space, time, goods, and services through digital platforms. Similarly, the EU Commission defined collaborative economy as a brokerage between individual service providers and recipients. Even more important in the general discourse are the plethora of authors who believe that collaborative economy, particularly commons-based peer production, has the potential to transform the capitalistic system and the whole of society into something much less corporate-driven and more equality-based. Proponents of open collaboration argue that online connectivity allows provisioning based on access rather than ownership, which enables better use of previously underutilized assets like cars, private rooms, apartments, and tools. The thriving marketplace that exists as a result, they say, transfers the burden of maintenance to the provider, while the sharing platform reaps the benefits. At the same time, however,